Welcome back to the Daughter Arise channel. My name is Yvonne and this channel is all about bringing you content surrounding childhood sexual abuse. I share my experiences of going through childhood sexual abuse on this channel, things that I found helpful, things that I found challenging, things that I found empowering. Also, I cover news stories surrounding childhood sexual abuse and other topics surrounding this issue. So if this is the type of content you're looking for, please hit the subscribe button. So before we get into the video, I do need to give you a content warning because what I'm about to talk about, some of you may find triggering or disturbing, but it is something that is really important and I don't see anywhere else on YouTube, maybe that's just because I haven't searched the right terms, where people are actually talking about this particular area of child sexual abuse, and that is to do with the physical injuries caused by childhood sexual abuse. I cannot unsee what I saw, and basically I wanted to share this with you to alert you to the fact that this is also a real part of many children's experiences of going through childhood sexual abuse. I came across some injuries and really it was one of the most distressing things that I have had to see in me doing this work regarding child sexual abuse. Now again, I'm just going to mention that what I am talking about is quite distressing and disturbing. So if it is something that you know that you're going to find difficult to listen to, then I would advise you to probably click off this video, watch it at another time when you feel able to, or maybe not watch it at all. But because of the nature of child sexual abuse and the secrecy and the taboo regarding it, that it is some kind of injuryless crime, this is why I am sharing this with you. So as I mentioned, with the research that I'm currently doing to look into child sexual abuse in India, I came across these images. And the reason I'm doing research into this is because every other day in the media, not that it's mainstream news or front page news, children in India are being raped and killed. And I'm really alarmed and startled at the amount of cases that are coming out of India regarding little babies, little children who are being sexually abused. And because of seeing this constantly when I'm looking for stories to do with child sexual abuse, I wanted to get a better understanding of some of the issues and dilemmas that is facing children in this country. Now, when I saw these images, which was part of a research paper on ResearchGate, where I like to read a lot of their documents, some of the images that I saw, and there was only like 6 images that was submitted as part of a research paper, there were injuries to the child's nether regions, meaning the private area, anal injuries where there was like, boils and things like that. Also, on the female child, the vagina area, there were like what looked like calluses that were growing there. And these were children of like 4, 5, 6 years old. And when I saw that, I just had to cry because it's so traumatizing for those children to have to go through that. And it did kind of bring me back a little bit and reminded me of my own injuries that I had from going through sexual abuse. Now, my injuries weren't as bad as these children, but I did have damage in the vaginal area. One of the things that the doctors had said in their report, that if the sexual abuse was to continue, I probably would have had worse injuries. All I can do is thank God that he got me out of that in time. But this is a real reality for children who are going through child sexual abuse. And even in doing this video and researching a bit more about physical injuries caused to children by child sexual abuse, I came across some news reports and reports from Pennsylvania in USA where they were talking about an increase in children being admitted to hospital with physical injuries caused by child sexual abuse. Now, they had noticed a huge increase, the paediatricians in this hospital, of children being admitted during the coronavirus pandemic over there and being admitted to ICU. The type of injuries that they were talking about was things to do, again, with the lower regions in a child's private area, children testing positive for gonorrhea and other diseases. And one of the realities of the injuries for a child going through child sexual abuse is that many of them end up dying from their injuries. On this channel, I covered 2 cases regarding Oshana and Luana, two girls, one from Nigeria and one from Brazil, who died of their injuries at 13 years old. For a child to sustain those type of injuries can lead to death. Children's bodies are just not made to deal with that type of trauma. For a lot of children who then become survivors, a lot of the injuries are psychological, and that is a well-documented fact. But it's also important to acknowledge that physical injuries do happen as well. It's something that I experienced as a child, and for a lot of years I experienced dissociation with that part of my body just because of the violation that happened to me in that area. I have to take my hats off to the paediatricians and other hospital staff that are having to deal with these injuries. Many years ago I shared a Facebook post from a paediatrician as well in Jamaica at the Bustamante Hospital in Kingston, who was talking about the huge amount of cases that were coming through their hospital doors with children who were being sexually abused. A lot of them didn't even make it to their next birthday. It's something that we do need to be aware of. It's something that we have to talk about. In talking about childhood sexual abuse, it's important that we lift off the underbelly of everything that it entails, not just the emotional and psychological injuries, also the physical injuries. You know, this is something that the press don't talk about, the media don't talk about, but it's important that we know about this. It's part of the experience that a child has gone through. Maybe you have been injured physically as a child, and also recognize that this is something that people don't talk about. It's important that we bring everything to do with this into the light. I think it's something that will stay with me for a long time in seeing those images, but nevertheless, it was important for me to see it, and it further encourages me to continue to do the work I'm doing to expose child sexual abuse and to support survivors. And this is an area within my work over the last decade that I haven't really seen a lot of survivors talk about openly, whether they have had physical injuries or not. So this will further equip me to have those conversations if and when they do come up. But I will be sharing that video with you soon about some of the things that are going on with child sexual abuse in India. But I just wanted to share that with you today. Hope that you are all doing well, and I will see you on the next video.